pregnant wife, catches millionaire husband sleeping with her best friend, now mistress, double betrayal. The night sky glittered over Manhattan's skyline, a symbol of limitless fortunes and bright possibilities. Yet inside a lavish penthouse overlooking those brilliant city lights, Rachel Thompson's reality would collapse in a single, devastating heartbeat. Her husband, Jonathan Thompson, a self-made millionaire with a polished reputation, and her closest confidant, Miranda Garcia, the best friend she trusted with her innermost secrets, had violated every vow of loyalty. Stepping into that darkened bedroom, Rachel never imagined she'd witness a betrayal so profound it would split her life into a before and an after. Hearts, dreams, and trust were about to be shattered in ways none of them could ever undo. Rachel Thompson once believed she was living the ultimate Manhattan fairy tale. Born and raised in a small town in upstate New York, she had always dreamed of bigger horizons, city lights, high-rise apartments, and a glamorous lifestyle. That dream sprang to life after she met Jonathan Thompson, a rising star in the finance world. He was the classic self-made millionaire, sharp suits, sharper wit, and an aura of confidence that turned heads wherever he went. They married in a ceremony that dazzled society pages. At the swanky Waldorf Astoria, Rachel glided down the aisle in a custom lace gown, her heart brimming with love and excitement. The next day, tabloids blared headlines about the finance mogul's romantic wedding to small-town sweetheart. Jonathan, ever the charismatic figure, expressed unwavering devotion to his new bride. Rachel, in turn, believed she had found a partner who appreciated her genuine heart more than her social standing. In these early months of marriage, Rachel discovered that affluence came with both perks and pressures. She joined Jonathan at charity galas, dinners with powerful CEOs, and philanthropic luncheons that served more as networking events than heartfelt gatherings. At times, she felt like an actress in an extravagant play, unsure if her lines matched the grand stage she'd stumbled onto. Still, she tried to carve out a meaningful role in Jonathan's world. She nurtured her love of art by organizing high-profile auctions to benefit local youth programs. She learned the unspoken etiquette of social clubs, smiling through occasional snubs from jaded socialites who dismissed her as just another trophy wife. Despite such hurdles, Rachel cherished the glimpses of genuine warmth Jonathan showed, like the nights he whisked her away for a simple dinner in Chinatown, claiming it reminded him of the humble origins he'd overcome. All the while, Rachel's best friend, Miranda Garcia, stood as her anchor. They had been inseparable since college, forging a deep bond over shared heartbreaks, late-night pizzas, and ambitious plans for the future. When Rachel faced doubts about adapting to the Thompson family's opulent lifestyle, Miranda provided unwavering reassurance. Miranda was everything Rachel admired: confident, brilliant, and fiercely loyal, so it seemed. Yet, behind the glitzy penthouse walls, subtle cracks hinted that not all was perfect. Rachel noticed Jonathan's occasional late nights at the office, suspicious phone calls ending abruptly when she walked into the room, and fleeting shadows in his gaze. But love can be a formidable shield against suspicion. She convinced herself that every successful man should be busy, and that her best friend's unwavering presence only proved how blessed she was. Little did Rachel know, a merciless truth lurked just beyond the horizon, one that would shatter her illusions of love, trust, and the best friendship she had ever known. Miranda Garcia was the kind of woman who turned heads effortlessly. She carried herself with a natural grace, accentuated by a tall frame and sleek black hair that cascaded down her back. Raised in a middle-class household, Miranda had clawed her way through college by juggling part-time jobs and scholarships. Her ambition rivaled that of any Ivy League graduate, and her intelligence shone just as brightly. Rachel met Miranda on their first day at Hudson University. They were assigned as roommates in a cramped dorm, forced to share bunk beds and endure questionable cafeteria food. Their backgrounds were different. Rachel grew up in a cozy, rural environment, whereas Miranda had experienced a more suburban lifestyle, but they bonded over a shared hunger for success and an aversion to the campus's petty drama. Miranda studied communications and marketing, soon distinguishing herself with top grades and a knack for persuasive speech. She had a flair for turning even the most casual conversation into a stepping stone for networking. Rachel admired her friend's tenacity. No matter how many obstacles life threw her way, Miranda tackled them with unapologetic boldness. After graduation, they kept close as they both moved to Manhattan. Miranda landed a job in public relations, quickly ascending the corporate ladder at a boutique PR firm. Meanwhile, Rachel's path diverged when she met Jonathan. She left behind her own budding career in art curation to support her husband's demanding schedule. Despite the shift, Miranda and Rachel remained inseparable. They met for weekly brunches in Soho, attended yoga classes together, and occasionally confided in each other about personal insecurities. While Rachel sometimes felt overshadowed by her new lifestyle, Miranda seemed genuinely supportive. She listened intently to Rachel's worries about high society pressures and validated her feelings whenever Jonathan's world felt stifling. Beyond her unwavering support, Miranda also possessed an edge that both intrigued and unsettled Rachel. She was fierce in pursuit of her goals, some might say ruthless. But Rachel never questioned Miranda's loyalty. She'd seen her friend defend her countless times against mean-spirited gossip or cynical acquaintances who doubted Rachel's place beside a millionaire husband. As time flowed, Miranda became something of an unofficial advisor to Rachel. She suggested ways to navigate social events with confidence, reminded Rachel to maintain her own identity, and even connected her with philanthropic contacts that complemented Jonathan's circle. Rachel believed that having Miranda in her corner was proof positive that she'd never lose her sense of self. If anything, she felt grateful that her best friend understood the complexities of her new life. Unbeknownst to Rachel, Miranda's ambitions stretched further than any PR career or social network expansion. Beneath the polished exterior and comforting friendship, she carried secrets that would set the stage for an emotional explosion. And the match that would ignite that fuse was creeping ever closer, threatening to destroy everything Rachel thought she knew. The shifting tides in Jonathan's behavior began subtly. At first, it was small things, text messages he kept hidden, whispered phone calls. He excused himself to take in the other room. Rachel, trained by love to trust, brushed these off as typical of someone in the high-stakes financial sector. If he didn't want to reveal deal details, perhaps it was simply to protect her from the stress or legal constraints. She told herself as much whenever anxiety crept in. Then came the nights he didn't come home until well past midnight. He claimed emergency meetings with clients on a European time zone. Yet even that might have been believable. Jonathan was known to handle global investments, so it seemed plausible. But Rachel couldn't ignore how disheveled he sometimes appeared, tie loose, hair askew, the faint whiff of perfume that wasn't hers. One evening, she dared to question him. "You smell different," she said gently, searching his eyes for honesty. A flicker of guilt flashed in those dark irises, but he masked it with a disarming grin. "A new cologne from a meeting," he insisted. "Maybe it's the scent in the taxi." His explanation felt flimsy, but Rachel didn't press. She hated the thought of turning into a suspicious wife. While Jonathan's distance grew, ironically, Miranda's presence increased. She dropped by the penthouse more often. Sometimes she brought dinner or a new bottle of wine she'd discovered. She'd lounge in the living room with Rachel, asking pointed questions about how things were going. "Is everything okay with you two? You seem stressed," she'd remark, her tone laced with genuine concern. Rachel confided in her friend about the late nights, the uncertain hush that fell between her and Jonathan. "Maybe he's feeling pressured," Miranda would suggest, gently patting Rachel's hand. "He's a man with huge responsibilities. These guys get so wrapped up in their world, they forget how it looks from the outside." She urged Rachel to be patient, to remain calm and supportive. Confrontation might push him away, Miranda warned. As the stress piled on, Rachel found herself more reliant on Miranda's advice. Her best friend's unwavering encouragement reassured her that she wasn't overreacting. After all, Miranda had no reason to mislead her, so Rachel thought. She truly believed Miranda was her champion, the protective force who'd stand by her no matter what storms brewed. Yet, in moments of quiet reflection, Rachel felt a pang of unease. She noticed how her friend sometimes vanished after Jonathan's calls, or how she seemed to know more than she let on about Jonathan's business. She dismissed those thoughts as paranoia. She had no reason to suspect the two people she loved most, her husband and her best friend, would conspire to betray her. The very idea was unthinkable. In the days to come, the unthinkable would become undeniable. For hidden behind the forced smiles and hasty excuses was a betrayal brewing, one that neither Jonathan nor Miranda intended for Rachel to discover, at least not until they had locked her out of the life she'd built. But fate had other plans, setting the stage for a heartbreak so deep it would eclipse any illusions of loyalty left in Rachel's heart. Rachel always trusted her gut, but ever since stepping into her new life, she found herself second-guessing those instincts, lulled by the veneer of wealth and camaraderie. Still, certain moments pricked her subconscious. A hush fell over the room whenever she entered, and Jonathan quickly hung up a call. Miranda, upon seeing Rachel approach a conversation between them, abruptly changed the subject to trivial gossip. Or that afternoon, when a bouquet of expensive orchids arrived at the penthouse with no note, Jonathan insisted they were from a business associate. Miranda, for no reason Rachel could deduce, grew uneasy at the sight of them. Late at night, Rachel sometimes woke to find Jonathan missing from their bed, only to discover him in the living room, speaking softly on the phone. He'd claim restlessness, flipping through financial portfolios on his laptop. She'd sense tension in his posture, a glimmer of annoyance that she'd disturbed him. No matter his rationales, a persistent hollowness in her chest grew. Increasingly, she noticed Miranda's shift, too. Her friend sometimes appeared anxious around Jonathan, stealing guarded glances as though tracking his every reaction. Then, in a split second, she'd revert to the supportive BFF persona, smiling widely, offering Rachel comforting hugs, if she even hinted at marital stress. The more contradictory behaviors Miranda displayed, the more they fed Rachel's suspicion that something was off. One weekend, an unexpected scenario amplified her doubts. Jonathan claimed he was away in D.C. for a corporate conference, but his key liaison, whom Rachel had once dined with, posted pictures on social media clearly set in Los Angeles. There was no mention of Jonathan traveling with him. Rachel confronted Jonathan gently over FaceTime. He flashed irritation. "Plans changed last minute," he snapped. "Why are you prying? You know how fluid deals can be." Miranda, discovering Rachel's concerns that Monday, quickly soothed her. "Jonathan's a busy man. Maybe he's handling a sensitive takeover or something hush-hush," she reasoned, brushing aside the odd details. "Don't let social media posts rile you up." Rachel wanted to believe that. She had no solid proof, just a swirl of inconsistencies. But a wise voice inside her whispered that ignoring so many signs would be foolish. She decided to quietly start paying closer attention. She reviewed credit card statements, noticing unexplained charges from luxury spas and restaurants in Manhattan. She asked gentle questions around Jonathan's office staff, receiving polite but tight-lipped responses. The more she dug, the more anxious she became, as if an invisible noose of betrayal was tightening. Miranda's unwavering calm didn't help. Or perhaps it was too unwavering. The best friend who once championed total honesty seemed adept at redirecting or deflecting. Rachel tried to push away paranoid thoughts. Perhaps Miranda was just trying to help. Perhaps Jonathan's secrets were simply career-related. Yet, the more she tried to rationalize, the deeper her sense of dread sank. A storm was gathering, and she stood at its epicenter, bracing for an impact that would tear her life asunder. No betrayal is discovered at a convenient time, and Rachel's heartbreak would prove no exception. One crisp autumn morning, Jonathan departed for what he called a pivotal client meeting in Montreal. She kissed him goodbye, ignoring the flutter of unease in her stomach. He had promised to return the following week, leaving her to handle the upcoming charity gala for children's art programs, an event she had poured her heart into organizing. 2 days later, she stood in the nearly finalized art exhibit space, double-checking lighting and display placements. An urgent phone call from the lighting technician demanded her immediate attention back at the penthouse. A missing set of cables they insisted might be in her personal supply trunk. Sighing, Rachel hailed